I was going to say, for those folks that are joining virtually, we're just waiting for enough people to show, and we'll keep you posted.
Light circulation. Going over here.
Oh, there.
Well, it looks like we potentially have enough folks in attendance, so we'll probably do a roll call and make it official.
That. Right. Let's figure it out. Okay. Les Fremantle. Dennis Wood.
Here.
Okay. PJ Keeler.
Present.
Steve Meehan is here in the room. Steve Neer.
Here.
On there. Okay. Kathy Allen.
Here.
Ben Bornhorst. Tracy Weir.
I'm here.
Jim Vina. Alex Knowlton. Dr. McHugh. Okay, Dr. Daly's excused. Steve Kroll.
Good evening, present.
Anne Marie Cross. Me, I'm here. Lynn Kane. Jim Stairs is here. Dale Lingenfelter.
Dale's here.
Alan Bell.
I'm representing Alan today. This is Sue Sizdak.
Steve Retzloff.
Yeah, that's him.
I'm here.
Jeff Williams. Maria Walker.
I'm here. In case you guys can't see it, Alan Bell is also in the chat and says I'm here, but I have no.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sorry about that confusion.
It's all right. Charles Welch. Adam Fink.
Here.
Paul Segru.
Here.
Okay. Jeremiah Rod.
I'm here.
Okay, and Richard Salucci. Looks like, let's see. 1, 2. Eleven, 12, 13, 14, 15. Am I not counting that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16? No, that's the next. We have 15. Am I only counting 15 people? Oh, wait. Alex Knowlton, I see you on there. I'm gonna check you off. All right, missed him. We got 16 then.
All right,
1,
excellent.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16, yes, we do. And who else is on Jeremiah Rod? I see you're on there too, so I'm gonna check you off. Let's see who else is on. Alex Kazor looks like,
Yeah, Dean Romano, Ally.
Dean, Dave Kowalski, Mary. Okay. Make note of all these folks. Okay, we may
All right,
begin.
well, then we'll call the meeting to order at 6:07.
Emery Cross just texted, couldn't make it.
Okay. Cool. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Previous meetings minutes are a recording, so we don't necessarily need to approve them. And as just mentioned, Dr. Daly is excused from tonight's meeting. Involved in clinical service, so I'm sure he's quite busy. Tim, executives.
Okay, semi-long report tonight, but I'll hit on the most important things, I think. You guys sense my frustration with my first bullet point there. We've hired 2 front desk assistants who both quit day before they were going to start. JC Guzman bailed us out, recommended Amanda Kimler. Amanda's a registered nurse and she comes well recommended. Problem is, it's only temporary. Hopefully I'll have Amanda behind that desk for 2 or 3 months, which will give me time to hopefully hire a more permanent replacement for that seat. Arms, we're chipping away at everything and getting the business ops in order. I do not have the last year's financials if PJ's listening, but we're working on getting that. I know Beth McGowan made a trip up there a week or so ago and made a big haul of a bunch of stuff. So maybe that's included in there. And they didn't meet in June. They did not have a quorum, so I don't have anything to report on that meeting. I'll be assisting them with a couple CON actions late July. I understand that's a Remsco project for them, but neither Tom or Beth have the requisite experience, I don't think. So I'm happy to help them get them through these 2 CON actions. We did have a question because it seems ARMS, I know we have annual audits. It seems ARMS had what they called a review. And I reached out to Ryan. I didn't get an answer or reply from Ryan, but Shannon Bensala from DOH got back to me today and basically said, quote, they're working on getting us an answer. I just want to make sure that that's an acceptable procedure to have moving forward to do business with. Training is starting to pick up right now. The Queensbury class started last week, 15 students, all's going well so far. We're working on scheduling an EMT boot camp style class. We did interview a new CIC for that, Michael Turek. Michael's a Greene County paramedic. Interview went really well. JC will be working with Mike to schedule that for hopefully early September. Also working on a fall EMT class. Last few years we've held that at SUNY Albany, but it's open to everybody and it'll be the same this time around. And we're gonna have both an original and a refresher this time. We're also working on instructor update. Deb Cuffs, one of our go-to regional faculty members, isn't available in the time frame I'd like to hold the class. So I've reached out to Tony Caligieri from Scotia Fire in Hudson Valley, new recent regional faculty appointment. He's going to be happy to help us with that. I'll be meeting with Tony tomorrow morning along with JC. We've submitted our Remo course sponsorship. It was a short form renewal this year. I don't foresee any issues with that. So we should be good to go for another 2 years with that. This concludes my report. I'll entertain any questions if anybody has it.
Great, seeing none, chairperson's report. I don't have anything specific to that category. I don't believe we have anything under issue discussions. You didn't see Dr. McHugh jump on,
No,
did you?
that's what I was looking for.
Okay, so we'll probably not have a medical director's report or a Remo academic with the absence of Dr. Daly and Dr. McHugh. PJ, want to do treasures?
Sure, I'd be glad to. You've all seen the treasurer's report, kind of unremarkable. Just one area of concern. We had budgeted $164,500 for income from training for the Remo courses and so on for the EMT courses. So far, we've only gotten in about $69,000. However, the CPR courses we had budgeted 35. We've already received 30,000, so that's a good thing. So hopefully we'll make it. Profit and loss year to date compared to last year, we're right about neck and neck. So hopefully last quarter here, we'll pull it out. The only thing to note basically is that we still owe, Remo still owes back our investment account when we can, that $40,000. So we'll talk about that in a little bit probably. But other than that, expenses are under control. Tim, you're doing a good job and we'll move forward.
Thank you. Any questions for PJ? Okay, CON, Tim actually has some information in there. And I'm not going to elaborate on, what it already says, which is MVP and Town of Berlin are a couple that are out there. There's also probably some upcoming action in Greene County and the rural areas there. But with any luck, none of this will require us to take any action over the course of the summer. So that's a good thing, that it won't cause us to break with tradition and meet. Information sharing, there's nothing from DOH, no course applications, nothing in terms of correspondence. From an executive committee standpoint, the only real interaction that we had as an executive group was just to interact with Tim briefly, as he mentioned when his front desk person nearly arrived, and then we had to take other action. Steve, finance?
There's no report from finance tonight.
Sounds good. You would also be up for New York State EMS Council if you have anything to add.
The New York State EMS Council did not meet. However, I do want to point out that the July 1st Medicaid rate increases have been released. Tim should have received the same email that I received today from Rich Brandt, which is a detailed memorandum on how those are being implemented. And Tim, if you haven't received it, let me know. And that, if you have received it, please do share it with everybody. It will give everybody something that they should share with their billing department, just so you know what the new Medicaid reimbursement rates will be starting July 1.
afternoon in my inbox. I'll shoot it out after the meeting.
And
Thank
if anybody didn't hear that, Tim said he'd have that out to everyone after the meeting. It just arrived in his inbox a short time ago. Any questions for Steve? All right, nurses, Anne Marie did send Tim a quick text indicating that she was unable to attend, so I would assume there's probably not anyone else who can give us a nurse's report. That would bring us to PJ and MCI.
No report at this time.
Sounds good. Membership, do we have Lynn?
Was she joined?
No, okay. So we don't have Lynn. Nominating is still an open position, so anybody interested, feel free to send us an email or volunteer. Awards.
Awards. So we sent out the survey. I've got some responses back. So for the awards that we're gonna do this year is BLS is Elizabeth Hildenbrandt. ALS is Shane Merchant. Harriet Weber, Nash Alexander, Communication Specialist Colin Campbell, Excellence in EMS Quality and Agency Greene County for both of those, and then Physician is Dr. Michael Waldrop. So those are the awards we're going to be sending to the state that's due in July 1st. So it'll be this week because obviously that's a Saturday. But going forward, I think we really need to, as a committee, a council, look at how we can get more involvement in these awards. I know Tim sends out a lot of emails about it, but I think we have to take it back even down to the county levels and really start getting more involvement, because most of these awards were just single nominations, as you know. And that's a little frustrating to not have, choices as to what to, to make the decisions based on. So if everybody can kind of put their thinking caps on for next year so we can move ahead. And we used to do it as a committee. Used to be a committee. We would kind of just get together and pick people and then tell the council this is who we picked. I think it's better to have the whole council pick it as the council's award. And that's why we put it out the past few years as a survey, so everybody can see who all was nominated and give their, get their vote in. But unfortunately, we only had 11 votes out of the full council that responded. And, hopefully next year, maybe we can work together and brainstorm before before we get the awards out there to get more involvement from the agencies. So that's my spiel for the day.
Sounds good. Any questions for Kara?
Really wish I brought my umbrella in because we're apparently under some
Yeah.
kind of attack here.
Thunderstorms and rain. County reports, Albany County.
Nothing to report.
All right, very good. And that was Wood. Sorry, I realize we're recording Columbia County. Nothing from Columbia. Greene County.
Nothing to report.
Rensselaer County.
Nothing from Rensselaer County.
All right, anybody from Saratoga County?
This is Tracy,
Tracy,
nothing from
yep.
Saratoga.
Okay. And Schenectady County,
Nobody but Dale's on.
possibly Dale.
Yeah, nothing to report.
Okay, great. As far as a new business item, something has come up as it relates to Aram's, their budget and what was recently discovered as we're approaching the end of their calendar year, for lack of a better description. And what we determined was that they have payroll funds that would not be part of a predetermined expenditure. So they would either be surplus, or we would have to create a method by which we would disperse those funds. From the conversation that was occurring kind of 11th hour, the who?
Dave Kowalski's gone. If you
Oh,
want to
okay.
explain something.
Yeah, well, or I can defer to Dave too, but this is from, just a conversation. There was some interaction with the accounting firm, and they said that they can't just be set in suspense. It would actually have to be, payroll would have to occur. As the discussion occurred, and I think this went to PJ as well, the thought was to pay the three Remo folks that have, paid or played a significant role in the Aram's process up to date. and not place us in a position where we would essentially be telling the state, no, we don't need as much money as you've given us, which is essentially not a good thing. So I would open it up to anyone who has a question or a discussion on that, or certainly to Dave, if you want to elaborate on.
Yeah, Dave Kowalski could explain that.
Okay. Yep, he's.
Hey, I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Basically, what we had was an estimated surplus of between 17 and $20,000. I contacted Thielbecker Chimani, who's our auditing company. And what I had them do was generate a bill for the anticipated cost of the Aram's year-end audit for $10,000. So we were able to reduce that by $10,000. The balance that I'm estimating, I'm still trying to get hard numbers from Phil Malidi. He hasn't been the easiest person to get a hold of and get answers from. But it looks like what we're left with after all expenses are going to be balanced off and everything is approximately a $7,000 to $10,000 under expenditure, resulting from the last quarter of Aram's payroll not having been spent on Phil Malidi and his wife and their benefits.
So let me speak on behalf of Aram's. When this occurred, we understood, or we were under the assumption that obviously Remo was going to provide support staff to the Aram's council, and the Aram's council or program agency was prepared to pay for those services. We didn't expect Remo to provide free labor. So I would think that that should have been being done even in the absence of Phil, right? Somebody's still doing the work and they should be compensated for it. And that was always the intention of the program agency and the Aram's council.
That was Tom Pasquale.
Yeah.
Dave, this is PJ. Does that money exactly have to be put towards salaries? Or you did generate
It doesn't, but that's where the in the Aram's budget, where the short or the under expenditure is under the salaries line item.
Okay. But it doesn't matter if the bottom line, the money is used up and one line is over and another line is under, correct?
What I need to do then is adjust the budget mod, because what they want is everything has to exactly equal the expenditures. So what I'd have to do is when we get to the end of the year, submit a budget mod to Shannon Bensala to go and get everything exactly evened out for the amount of money that we had spent.
Okay, because and again, my 2 cents on this whole thing is that I am not against salary increases whatsoever, and not at all. But I just worry that moving forward, we need to create a line for an Aram's administrative expense that would also include, part of our rent, salary reimbursements, so on and so forth. And, proportion that out. And we need to budget that in moving forward so that we know exactly what it is that we're trying to do. Part of the reasons in, consolidating would be, to increase our revenue stream, to try to, keep us afloat, so to speak, and both agencies. And, by just creating that line for administrative expense would include salaries. And that way we can look at this moving forward, even within the next month, because I think we need to apportion this out according to the amount of time, spent, so on and so forth. We talked about this in the budget cycle back in September and October. And Tim and you guys were very gracious. You were able to take a 5% increase in salary. And we were of the understanding that we would review this once we got into it and knew what we were doing moving forward. And I would still like to do that, but I just don't want to I just don't want to do this nilly-willy and just distribute this money. And as far as a salary goes, and then, once you give it, you can't take it back. And I'm not saying you don't deserve it. That is not what I'm saying, because it may end up being that or more. I just think that it needs to be budgeted so that from a transparency standpoint, and again, part of our expense is the rent expense, the education expense, so on and so forth, that need to be allocated against ARMs. So.
Right. I'm sorry, PJ. Yes, what we do is we do attribute a portion towards ARMs.
Right.
And we use a salary allocation method. So we do bill ARMs at the end of the quarter for their portion of expenses. But what I've done is I've gone and given my best estimate to what that portion of what ARMS owes us. And that's where I'm still projecting, still having a slight under expenditure of that $7,000 to $10,000.
Oh, okay.
This was tough to predict. And going back to PJ, it was always my intention to, as we plan the budget for next year, to obviously include salary adjustments relative to our ARMS responsibilities. But that being said, we've been running 2 program agencies since this consolidation has taken effect. And we didn't expect to uncover this under expenditure like this. But this was money that was, Dave Kowalski, correct me if I'm wrong, this was money that was basically earmarked as Phil Militi's salary, but Phil Militi resigned and came off the payroll, I believe, at the end of March. Somebody is still doing the ARMS work, and it's me, Dave Kowalski, and Emily. All our workloads have increased a considerable amount due to this new arrangement and new consolidation. And basically, the 3 of us are running 2 agencies and being compensated as one. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that at all. Okay. That isn't what I'm arguing about. I'm just trying to figure moving ahead, how we do this. So what is the proposal?
Well, before we do anything, I think Dave Kowalski needs to confirm the hard date for this, Dave, relative to the contracts and stuff. Can you just confirm the date that money has to be earmarked by?
Money has to be spent by June 30th. That's when the contract year ends and the new contract year begins July 1st. So in order for it to count as an expenditure in this fiscal year, it must be spent by June 30th.
So can't we just allocate that towards salary for Remo and as one expense?
Well, that's what I was trying to get at, just to create a line as administrative expense and then figure out moving forward from there. I mean, we have a week to do this. It's the 11th hour. That's all I was trying to get at. Not against it whatsoever, but just trying to figure out, because there's more than just salary, that should go in the administrative expense.
Right. I mean, what we were dealing with this year was we were trying to figure out, PJ, Tim, and I had sat down several times trying to figure out, when this was going to go into effect with ARMS. It was supposed to be January 1st, then it got pushed back and it got pushed back and it got pushed back, and finally ended up as ARMS ceased to be their own operating agency at March 31st. So it was very difficult to go and set a budget. But now that we are being fully integrated, we know the amount of their budget, we know the amount of our budget. We'll be able to come up with a comprehensive budget for the upcoming year and know exactly what we're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah, just for everyone, I mean, it's probably stating the obvious, but the goal was, to essentially open this up for discussion this evening, obviously, so it didn't look like we were doing something, behind closed doors, for lack of a better description, as we're, forced to, make a decision with a fairly urgent time frame where we would have to do this by the end of the month. But, between the conversation that's occurred tonight and the suggestions, it sounds like we can work through the final details before the end of the month and have this appropriately expensed. If that's the best way to describe it, yeah. So unless somebody else has a suggestion or a recommendation, I think we're good, and we'll have Tim, PJ, and Dave probably interact more by email as we crunch a few more numbers before the end of the week. Go ahead, Steve.
Jim, this is Steve. I don't understand what we're at, what the decision is. Can you just, either you or PJ restate exactly what the decision is?
I think, yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to state it, and if I do it incorrectly, anybody jump in. There are essentially payroll funds, and we'll call it that way, that need to be expensed before the end of Aram's year, which would be June 30. So as we've come to this realization, you know, there's been interaction about how to do it. The only way that it seems like we can do it is to earmark that for staff performing that function here at Remo. And as PJ has mentioned, if some of that can be earmarked budgetarily towards, you know, the operating expenses that, you know, keep the doors open, the lights on, stuff like that, then we would do that as well.
So you're all due respect, that's not an answer to what we're doing. Is what we're doing, we're giving Tim, PJ, and you the responsibility of allocating those monies to Remo staff, and you'll be making decisions on how much you'll be allocating?
Correct. I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay, well, that should be, I don't know if we need a motion to give that, approve that, or if you're able to do it, but I mean, you know, I didn't really follow the conversation that well, but if the intent is that, as was said, our staff from our region worked on this transaction, and therefore we're going to use those funds for a one-time, for lack of a better term, bonus compensation for them. I think most of us would be certainly great with that, but we should state it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you were going to make that in terms of a motion, simply because Tim would be part of the compensation, it should probably be a motion that directs me, for lack of a better description, or PJ as another person in that motion to you know, work through this process and expend those funds you know, before the end of the year.
But Jim, I'd be glad to make a motion authorizing the executive committee to pay out such funds as may be available from the Aram's budget salary line as one-time bonus payments to the Remo staff that worked on the merger in amounts to be determined by the chairperson and treasurer.
Sounds good. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Steve. Anyone have a question on the motion? All right, seeing none, is there anyone who would like to abstain or vote no? All right, seeing none, we'll call it motion carried. Again, thank you for your input and the vote of confidence as we're again doing something 11th hour. Just for those who may not have seen it, Dr. McHugh is now with us. Dr. McHugh, would you like to report on either REMAC and Dr. Or REMAC or academic, or possibly anything from Dr. Daly?
Sorry, I tried to come up with my hands. Dr. Daly had nothing in particular to pass on. As far as the REMAC, the biggest discussion was on some blood programs that Daly had seen in, actually he discussed that last month here. That's what we get for having a meeting every other month. Biggest discussion that we had was access to CARES data and priority of that. Other than that, it was mainly housekeeping at the meeting.
Very good. Do you have anything specific to academic?
No, nothing major academic.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions for Dr. McHugh? All right. Well, we have no actual old business before us. Any items from the floor that someone might want to bring up? Go ahead.
So I just thought it'd be notable to mention in this forum, but over the past week and a half or so, we, the region, I think as a whole, unfortunately lost a very valuable resource in service in UCM Digital Health. It was about a week and a half ago, they had announced the suspension of the telehealth component of UCM. I know there weren't a ton of organizations that had participated, but speaking for one organization, it was overarchingly beneficial. Our community was in love with it. Our providers were in love with the service. It was an overwhelming success. And although I'm disappointed that the service isn't here, that have participated, maybe everyone else would embrace that concept.
Very good. Well, if there are no,
One more thing.
oh, go ahead.
So just one more thing. I'm not sure if everybody received, this has been out for a little while, but the state, the Remsco had a technical advisory tab, the EMS sustainability tag. And they developed a 2023 evidence-based EMS agenda for the future. One of the tasks that has come to us from CMAC or to the Remsco and its subcommittees from CMAC is to develop some protocols, some standards, some performance metrics. And I'm on two of the subcommittees. One is safety and one is training and ed. And I have meetings with both of those this week where we're going to work on developing some performance metrics based on this, this document that was produced by this tag. I'm going to send it out. If you haven't gotten it already, I'll send it out again, because one of the tasks is for these metrics to be developed in conjunction with the local Remscos. So unfortunately, we're heading into our summer hiatus, which we have to vote on. But I want to, reach out to everybody if these meetings do generate any type of ideas and thoughts, and reach out to the group and the committee, the council, to get your input on it, because it is supposed to be in conjunction with the Remscos, and those recommendations should go to the state Department of Health Bureau of EMS to help develop some of these quality metrics that they're looking to implement. But I haven't totally read this document myself. I got to sit down and get that done this week, but I suggest you read it as well. There's some key points they've made in there. I don't really necessarily agree with all of them. I'm sure you won't either, but you should at least be advised and informed as to what the state's looking to do moving forward for EMS. So like I said, I'll get that out, or I'll have Tim send that out probably tomorrow. So everybody can take a look at that. If you haven't already, you may already have. That's all I got.
Very good. If there's no other item, the last item would more than likely be our suspension of meetings in July and August. So if someone would like to make a motion to that effect, we'll take the summer off, as is typical.
I'll make the motion.
All right, I have a motion by Dale Lingenfelter, a second.
PJ,
Second by PJ Keeler. Any discussion on that? Unlikely. Anyone choosing to vote no or wishing to abstain? All right, we'll call it motion carried. And again, thank you for your participation. Our next meeting will not be until September 25. So enjoy the summer. enjoy Labor Day. And as Tim just said, with any luck, we won't have a CON issue that will cause us to come together over the summer. And we'll call the meeting adjourned at 6:40.